Okay, so I want to get everybody caught up. There's some things we've been working on over the past several weeks, kind of going back a little further than that as well, but also currently and what we're looking to do moving forward. So, what's the trajectory of the company? What are our plans? Hopefully, this won't be too long of a video, and then we'll do another one to kind of carry over to some of the other things I'd like to go over with you. Okay, so we're going to jump right into it. So we've been going through our existing debt structure. I know I alluded to this last week, but bear with me. We've gone over some of the IP agreements, our relationships corporately, internally with other partners, other subsidiaries, etc. And we're looking to determine what we have, what we don't have, what's complete, what's incomplete, and where the value is, what value is present, so that we understand how we're going to move forward over not just the next couple of weeks or months, but the next couple of years. So we've been kind of going over that and making sure that we have everything kind of outlined and itemized in-house so that we know not only where we are, but where we're going. And this is to prepare the company for what's next. And there are several steps that we're going to be going through, and they're significant. We need to make sure that we have, all of our ducks in a row, for lack of a better term. So we've been evaluating some of these assets. We're outlining a schedule for the release of tech and/or products, things that we have in-house, over the next, it's really about 36 plus months. I know that seems really far out to a lot of people, but you have to understand we have to make sure that supply chain's in place, manufacturing, we get on a production schedule. These things are far more pushed out and complicated than I think most people probably appreciate, and you're probably in a good position not appreciating, because I'm the one that's got to deal with it on a daily basis, right? So we're just getting things in order. So you're going to see some changes. We've sent out some pre-notices to our existing entities to cure either delays or the delivery of IP, delivery of products to market, etc. I am focused on what's working. And I know that this could sound a little cold, but bear with me. We need to figure out what's working, what's not working. If something doesn't work, maybe it's a good idea to move past that and move on. Sometimes you cannot cure things in a timely fashion, and I need to make sure that we have the right teams in place and the right processes in place in order to cure those delays and get things to a point where they are cash flow positive, revenue positive, or I should say, at the very really focused on is the net positive, right? So these are things that we need to focus on, and we need to streamline. We have a limited amount of resources. You got to allocate those resources very strategically. So we've also evaluated management, the teams there, the relationships that we have in place, and even internally, as far as across the entire conglomerate, if you will, to determine what's needed. Obviously, the Dreaming Company with IGEA and H2O are all performing and progressing very well. So that's less of a concern. For me, for the C-level management and the people that I work with, we are focused. I'm sure you've figured this out and noticed we've prioritized H2O and brought that to the forefront. So of our focus and our efforts and resources. So the next question is for UAT Group, when are these press statements coming out? I know we had targeted one for this week. There was a delay in getting some signatures back on some documents. I don't want to put something out until we know, that it's finalized. Do we think there's going to be a delay? Do we think there's an issue? No. But I've been doing this long enough to know, and I'm sure many of you can appreciate this. Delays happen. Anything can happen at the last minute. I need to make sure before we put something out that we have everything in final form and approved by legal. So that's where we're at. There's nothing's happened. Nothing's gone wrong. Fingers crossed, right? But I don't expect there will be. But we have not put anything out this week because we're waiting on some documentation back. So the next question is, statements, news, etc., press releases. When are they going to be out? We're not going to make anything until there's a material change. And again, it's final. So we are finalizing several items across more than one company. I don't want to kind of let the cat out of the bag there, but I'll put it that way. And we'll put news out once those things are final. And those final items should be out, or will begin getting pushed out here shortly. It's going to be very soon. I don't want to give you a date yet. Do I think it could be next week? I think we're going to have everything buttoned up and final approval over the next day or so. That's my expectations. But again, based on previous conversations, we had an expectation of things being done by the end of this week. So there was a little bit of an incident internally at the other place, family matter. So one individual wasn't there. So we're waiting on that. Okay. Next item that I want to go over with you was H2O processing. Financing is being finalized. And I know you've heard I've alluded to this before. We're, as far as the funding in place, we're more than halfway there at this particular point for the first unit and even some of the factoring for the future unit. So what does that mean? We are currently finalizing the financing or credit facility for the build out of the first 18 systems. So I want to be very clear here. Doesn't mean it's final. And do I expect there to be a complication? No, I think we're pretty much all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed. We're at the end. But again, we've got to get past that last hurdle, make sure that legal reviews everything, and we're where we need to be. So that's where we're at with the systems. Now, what does that mean? Let's say we have it all done today. What does that mean? The materials and components should be ordered in the upcoming weeks. Do I think that's going to be in the next couple of days? That's not what we're targeting. I would say give us, 5 to 10 days, somewhere in there, and we'll have confirmation on components ordered, delivery dates, raw materials. That'll happen over the next two business weeks of a cycle. I think we'll have some updates for you here shortly. And when those come in, by the way, I will share those with you. I might not do a full-blown video. Maybe I'll put out a short video from my phone, Twitter, or we'll just put out a tweet or something. But I'll keep you in the loop. I'm not going to keep it hidden from you. There's no reason to do that. The first unit's expected or targeted to be delivered to the first customer within about 3 to 5 weeks. It's probably real 4 to 5 weeks. So because we got to get some other things on the docket as far as I'll give you an example. The tanks are already built for the first system, but there are some other materials that we need to make sure we can get a hold of. And I don't think there's a delay or there's a problem. As of this morning, there wasn't. I am waiting on a phone call for one item, but we'll see. The trailers that they go in, Connex boxes, which is another option. All of those items are available and ready to ship. They can be delivered in a matter of days, just so you know. The revenues. When will we see revenues off of those items? Probably the latter part of September. Yeah, they have net 30-day terms. So I'm disclosing that to you. Anytime the equipment delivers on site, understand that 30 days after is when we start getting paid on that contract. Those contracts, the first 3 have all have clauses extendable. They're essentially 5-year contracts. So it's significant for our bottom line. All right, so that's the first system. When are the rest of the systems going to be built? Look towards full-scale production of those systems towards the end of Q3. Interestingly, we have to make sure we have capacity for future orders, future contracts. We do have several. We're not going to do a dozen contracts right behind these first 3 or so contracts. We would probably take in, and this is what we're currently discussing, 3, no more than 4 contracts. Why are we throttling? Why are we holding it back? The challenge is each customer, as of today, needs 4 to 5 systems minimum. So we've got to build these systems out. There is a cost associated with it. Luckily, it looks like we have everything in final form, and I will make you aware of that as soon as we have that in final form for the financing of these particular systems. So we should have not only the first 18 financed, but the subsequent 18 systems financed. Again, I'm not saying that's done. I want to be very clear before we take the ball and run with it and go on some public chat room or so forth and say it is not finalized. So I want to be very clear on that. And I will let you know, we'll put out a press statement. and I'll let you know when it's finalized. I don't expect any holdups, but you never know. Okay, so I did get a question, and I think it's relevant here. The saltwater discharge. That is a much quicker to revenue proposition, I should say, right? So the saltwater discharge well, as far as investment of dollars and time, the delta on that is far more in our favor. We get to revenue a lot quicker. That's about a 3 to 4 week cleanup. And then overhead is very, very low because it's existing. It's been operational. That's what our strategic partner, Bellows operating down there in Texas. So, we're looking at sometime in August, mid-August, we should have that up and running and revenue positive. Okay. As far as the future of the company, I kind of, where are we at on this? I don't want to go too far, really long video here, but I think we are really focused. I want to emphasize this on positioning the company for the next steps. I don't want to get into the next steps only because, we've made statements in the past. We've fallen behind in the past, but I need to make sure that we can have everything buttoned up as far as making sure that we meet all the guidelines as dictated by the SEC and to satisfy any inquiries by FINRA and any questions or comments that they've come back to us with. I need to make sure that during this process of getting the companies audited, moving the company through up through the exchange, and then with the potential of going to one of the senior exchanges, there's a lot of boxes that need to be checked. And I'm making sure, the team is making sure, it's not just me, that we are having, we're dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and every box is checked. We've made a lot of progress over the past couple of months in kind of positioning us this way. 2023 is going to be a big year. I put some very high expectations on everyone that by the end of the year, we need to be at a certain place because I couldn't go through another, by the end of 2023, I don't know if I said 2024, but 2023, we can't have another 2020, 21, 22, where we're not quite making the progress that we need so that we can realize some of that capital investment and financing that will help grow the company. Again, I know this seems like, why are you taking this road? This might be a little longer. When you're targeting institutional level credit facilities or investment, different requirements. And I understand that many operate based off of what is currently going on in the pink sheets and so forth. We're not looking to stay there. And we had to make some changes, which I'm sure many of you noticed over the past 24, 36 months. We've changed how we file our Qs, and there's a couple other things that have changed as far as the protocols that we follow and the standards, how things are laid out. So this is important. This is key to why we're doing what we're doing. This is, a lot of it has been driven by banking requirements. What do we need to get the banking and the credit facilities to move the company forward? So I'm going to cut it off there. It's kind of getting long. I will give you an update on a few other things in the next video. I don't know if I'm going to shoot it back to back because I am waiting on some responses, and then I'll have something. We might do 1 or 2 videos next week. Maybe we just do, if I get everything in time, then we could push out that press release, and then we'll do a video that's an update video. I'd like to do something where we could maybe interact, live and go back and forth, because I think as you see what we're doing, this is going to get a little complicated, and not everyone has, the pedigree or experience to understand why are you making certain decisions and why are we going through this process. But I promise you one thing, we're not looking to go through extra protocols or processes, right? We are doing what we need to do to get to where we want to be, as we promised, and are a little delayed, right? So we should have been where we're looking to be by the end of this year. We should have been there 2 years ago. And I know everybody can make an excuse, and COVID and all these other things, but excuses don't get it done, and they're not going to get us to where we need to be, not only as a company, but as a family of shareholders. We are looking to see the company perform at a certain level. So I'll cut it off there. I appreciate everyone the support they've given and taking the time to watch these videos. I know everyone's busy, and I know many of you that are watching this are shareholders, maybe trading and so forth, and to sit down and watch another video from the chief executive of one of the companies you're invested in can be a little tedious and maybe not very interesting. But I promise you, I'm putting this out because I want to keep you guys in the loop, and I want to make sure that everyone understands what's going on. And if you have some questions or concerns with the decisions we're making or the trajectory of the company, I want you to feel comfortable and free to send something in so that I can address them directly, or the team if it's just a direct message or something like that. So I hope everybody has a really great weekend, and I look forward to talking to you next week. Thank you.